guys, we're back with Kelcie Pierce and we're talking with her about her building process. We're following Kelcie through the beginning to end of building a home, just to give you guys some more information on how that process really works in kind of a real-time situation. So thanks, Kelcie, for catching up with us today.
Sure.
So last time we spoke, we were kind of catching everybody up from the very beginning to kind of where you were, which I think you were about to break ground, or you just broke ground. And that's been about a month or so ago.
Mm-hmm.
So what has happened since then, and what have your experiences been?
I think a lot's happened in a month. It seemed like it went really quick to get it up. We don't have drywall yet, so that's kind of the thing. The roof went on. We did shingle the roof and got all of our rims put up too. So kind of we did our final walkthrough last week just to kind of take out a few things.
And so what does that final walkthrough look like to someone that might not know? So you kind of have your structure, is that what you call it? Yeah?
And you work, typically, we worked probably a month on a plan and developing this plan, and we were gonna stick to this plan. And of course you see these tiny little squares and you're not really sure what it's gonna look like when it's standing up. So, my husband was very frustrated that we spent almost a month working on this plan, and then I came in and ripped out a few things, but it was a lot different once you saw it actually here and up. And
Sure.
So a couple of things we noticed, we had closets that we had added originally to the plan, but then when we saw it aesthetically, we didn't think they looked right in the room, or we had too many doors kind of close together. And those are things we couldn't really see on that paper, but then once we walked through, we could kind of tell. So those were nice to kind of actually visualize and kind of see that firsthand. And then another thing that we thought too was the ceiling. When you first entered in, we have a very open layout, and it kind of needed a little more division than we had thought. So we kind of wanted to add a little more dimension in that ceiling. So that was one thing that kind of set us back a little, not terribly, but still was something that we weren't anticipating.
But that was a situation where it was kind of, the groundwork was laid and you didn't feel super great about it. And so that was kind of a debate that you guys had to have, right? If it was worth making that change,
right,
and going through that process. I think in the time of things, you're like, it'll be fine, just go with it. But maybe there's something that you find that's really important to you, and it's worth kind of going backwards and making that correction. And maybe if that costs a little bit more money, because this is a long-term commitment for the most part. So.
And I think we always laughed when someone said to us, if your marriage can get through your build, it's pretty much you can make it through anything in life. And we just kind of thought that was a joke. And then with the ceilings, it felt like I really understood why people told us that, and it got very difficult. And I think too, you don't realize, I didn't either. When we started this, my husband was like, I just am here for the money. I'm gonna make sure you're on budget. But he has a lot stronger opinion on a lot of things than I ever thought he would. So I think that's hard when you both have two very different opinions on what stuff should look like. And he kind of fought me on that ceiling, but then when we walked back through the second walkthrough, he said how much of a difference he thought that made, and that he would glad we went through with it. So, and those are things I don't think you think, oh, we could easily do it. And with the roof being on, it was a very hard process to do. But again, I think too, if you are unhappy, really say something, because until it's completely drywalled, I think you could change several things. And I think sometimes people were maybe hesitant to say anything. They don't want to hurt someone's feelings or cause more work or whatever. But I do think, like you said, it's a very long-term investment and you want to be happy. So make the changes if you do see it. But our banker also advised to kind of keep a small amount just into an emergency fund for when these things do arise. So I think that's smart too, to kind of communicate with your bank. We didn't obviously want to increase our loan amount, so we just kind of tried to figure out where they could pull that to fix different things.
So you guys are 2 months in, almost.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, a lot has happened within the past month, but now things will slow down again. So you're kind of seeing that process that things go, it's up and down, and you
Right.
think oh, it might be done sooner than you think, and then it'll slow down because you're waiting on certain things to happen.
We've had a very wet summer so far, so I think that's something too. You can't control the weather and when things are back ordered, so we really tried to push and get everything ordered as quickly as we could just to anticipate the back order. Our windows aren't in, so that's kind of the hold up currently. And my grandpa built several homes 20 years ago, and I asked him, I'm like, come look at the house, what do you think we'll get in sooner? And he was like, well, don't get your hopes up, because this is the time you're not going to see a whole lot of progress.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I think you're excited when you see it come up, but then so now we just kind of sit back and watch. So hopefully next month will be even more things to show.
How often, I'm just curious, how often are you checking it? Are you coming daily? Yeah.
I don't usually come as daily, but my husband passes it on his way home from work. So
Okay.
someone's here daily. We have great neighbors too that are retired that kind of peer in and send us updates too. So we do check on it. I try to come the same day every month just to take a picture so we can kind of see the progress
cool.
thus far. But
Awesome. Well, thanks, Kelcie, for giving us an update. We'll look forward to catching up with you maybe next month and seeing how things are going and hopefully more progression then. So, thank you.